Sorry, I pressed stop by accident. This is part 2 of my latest film, an update for, what are we? April 2020. So the other thing that I wanted to comment on, as well as insomnia and panic attacks that I was having about a month and a half ago, was that I was still meditating and I was still doing my yoga, and I was going to see various health practitioners. One of them was doing EFT and a bit of massage, and she was putting me into states of relaxation, but in a place where I felt kind of safe being near her. And I realised that when I was in that space, that basically I would just collapse. So it's like my whole physical body just like became a kind of floppy lump, So I wasn't able to hold myself anymore, and I was finding that I would often go into that state, especially after meditation or during or yoga, or where I was kind of on my own and I knew that I could just fully relax, and I would just slip into that space. And for me that was quite worrying, because it was like my physical abilities of my body was kind of the energy that was holding me together was kind of disconnecting, and I was like losing my form. It's really hard to describe, but it was like I would leave my body and lose my physical form, and I would just lay there kind of collapsed, and I was still conscious and aware, but I was kind of aware also that I wasn't quite there. I had gone far, far away. And I spoke to my meditation teacher about it, and she said that I was cutting the connection between my physical self and that kind of other place that we can go to during meditation, or that kind of it's difficult to explain. So I was worried about that, and I was trying to, in those times, I was trying to kind of hold on to myself, but it was clearly very difficult for me to do, and I was leaving my body because I felt like I needed to or had to. It was kind of a place of, for me, it was a place of retreat, a place of, because I also had a lot more kind of physical pains in my body again, and there was just so much built up tension from all the stress of the breakdown of my relationship, and it was just kind of an absolute feeling of just kind of peace and relaxation, and it was almost like a reaction going in completely opposite direction of what I was living day to day, moment by moment, when I was properly in my life, and dealing with all the things that I had to deal with. So that was pretty freaky. and that, coupled with the insomnia and everything, I was like, okay. And a while before that, I was like, okay, I feel like the only time when I felt a sense of kind of calm and peacefulness and okay was when the idea came to me that I had to leave my husband, and then I'd kind of back down, and I'd like, but no, I have to find a way to stay in this relationship for my daughter, etc. And then it would all come back again, So there I just wanted to describe it a bit to you, because I really was aware and listening intently to what my body was telling me, and I knew that it was important to take action, because if I didn't, I wouldn't be able to survive it. and it made me wonder, how many of you guys are sticking with things and staying in a situation in your life where it's not healthy for you and good for you. And because for so long I didn't realise myself that I was sticking with something that wasn't doing me any good. I wasn't aware. And even more so when I was on medication and I was on lithium or olanzapine, you're so hidden and kind of masked behind the medication that you don't really know your own mind, you don't really know your own body, you don't have that same depth of awareness and understanding of what your body and your mind and everything's trying to tell you. And I think it's only because this last year and a half that I haven't been on medication that I've really been able to start really learning about the ins and outs of myself and the details and depths of what really goes on and how I feel and my emotions and how I react to things, or how I don't react to things, or what I'm like when I'm angry. Like when I get angry, I get much more silent and I retreat and I close up. So it's being aware of those things and learning about yourself and working out what's right for you in the moment. And I think it was only really through meeting different people, like my meditation teacher here, and some of the things that she was saying to me. There was this lovely phrase that I'm going to translate for you as well as possible. Basically, what does you good, you hold on to and you keep. What doesn't do you any good, you let go of, and you don't keep. You just let it go. It's not serving you, it's not doing any good, so just let it go. And for a number of weeks I had that going around my head, and I was driving back home after my meditation session feeling totally zen and thinking about my life and my relationship and thinking, this is not serving me, it's not doing me any good, I've got to let it go. I've got to let it go. And I kept that in my mind, and for me it kind of gave me a new way of looking at my life and wondering, do I keep this? Do I let it go? And every day it just became clearer and clearer. I have to let it go. I have to let it go. Whatever it might mean for my future and my daughter and my future relationship with what will be my ex-husband, I just have to let that fall into place in whatever way it needs to, because right now this is not working. So that was a real eye-opener. And doing more meditation, getting deeper into that, and knowing what my body felt like when it was at peace and calm and steady and centered and supported by these other people around me. And those one-on-one sessions, and when I would talk to them about what my relationship was like, they'd give me feedback, and I started to realise that what I'm living isn't worth holding on to and carrying with me anymore. And that gave me the kind of the strength and understanding of how I needed to break up the relationship, and how I needed to, put that conversation forward for our separation in a way that, I could manage it, and I felt like it was possible and I could get to the other side without crumbling in a huge panic attack. Yeah. So I did it on a night after meditation when I'd felt zen, and I felt ready and I felt prepared, and I was like, right, I'm just going to go for it. And it's the hardest thing that I've ever done in my whole life. And yeah, intense. So intense. But a necessary thing that I had to put into place. So now I'm going to talk about my present a bit more, so that you can see how I've changed within the last month or so, which you may find interesting. So I'm going to talk about that next. Okay, see you on the next film. Bye.